Hey, Boy Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report, FTX Arena, Miami. It's Josue Pavon to my left.
Absolutely.
And
This thing is tied.
This thing is tied. Great game, great day for the Celtics. Coming in, feeling confident about Marcus Smart being able to play. They list him as probable. He goes through his pregame test that we were watching, and he looked good, moving well, hitting a lot of shots. That wasn't the story of his game. He goes 8 for 22, but stat stuffing in every other area, hands all over this game, 24 points, 9 rebounds, 12 assists, along with 3 steals. So you see the impact on both sides of the floor there. And of course, Al Horford back for this game as well. But felt like Smart had the more overarching impact here.
Absolutely.
Heat flashed the zone early. Thought he was crucial to that, keeping the ball popping. Not shot making, but being the guy sometimes at the point of attack who can settle down the offense. And then defensively, we all know the organizer, both sides talking about his defensive player of the year, caliber, production. And it's just one of those games where it's like, whew, thank the Lord they didn't trade him. And, you know, this is what all his supporters over the years were saying he was capable of.
You know, my take was always let the guy get a year. Let him finish the year. He's earned that much to be your starting point guard. Give him an opportunity to figure it out. And what a big performance from Marcus Smart in the postseason, in the Eastern Conference Finals, Bobby. And I loved how he got out there in the first quarter, and he wasn't shy. Let's be honest. He was taking a lot of shots. He wanted to really get the feel of the Eastern Conference Finals, this matchup, because as he put it after the game, there's a difference between being on the sideline and telling these guys what to do and being out there and being that voice. And he kept it honest. In game one, when things were really bad, especially in that third quarter, that was the story of game one, people don't necessarily want to hear the criticism. They don't want to hear your take in that instant. But out there, when you're in uniform, there's a big difference. And that energy, that flow throughout offense, being the guy to contain it, and also being the guy on the defensive end that could defend someone like Jimmy Butler, give him fits, that was missing in a big way in game one. But, man, his presence was felt here in game two.
Yeah, and the Heat felt it too. Gabe Vincent saying that the switching that the Celtics did changed the way they played offense, made them more stagnant. They weren't able to move the ball as well. And where the Celtics were turning the ball over a ton in game one, feeding the Heat, that's what the Heat were doing and sending the Celtics on transition, especially in that second quarter. Heat led early. I think 18-10 after a couple Max Strus threes there. Ime calls timeout. They get Rob out of the game. They go smaller with Grant. And this really hit me. The Heat going zone. So much talk about it coming into the series. Celtics were adamant that they were going to be ready for it, and it came at the right time with all their guys back. Horford, Smart, 2 good passers who were going to be able to keep things active against the zone. Jason said that this was sort of the thing that can make you stagnant, especially in your mind. You just have to keep staying aggressive while also keeping the ball moving when that zone pops out there, and they just crushed it. 6 straight threes to close the first.
That's how you crush it. I was just going to say.
Jalen decisive, hitting shots during that stretch, getting inside and working the ball out. They just knew exactly what to do against it. You can tell they had studied it, that they were well prepped, and Ime said after the game, we were ready for it.
I mean, you look at the pattern. I just feel like the Celtics are due for a game like this, a shooting game like this, almost like every other week, it seems like. And I just think it's a testament to the offense when the defense is clicking, when they're stringing together defensive stops, and then all of a sudden it just opens up the offense. And it's not just guys like Tatum, not just guys like, Marcus and Jalen. It's everyone,
Grant, Pritchard
got going, a couple of threes going, 4 or 5 players scoring in double figures. I mean, there's a reason why these guys flirted with, 130 points in this one. And I like the way Spo was pretty much keeping it 100 leading into this one, saying, look, they're going to punch back in a big way. And obviously this is before the news of Al Horford dropped that he was going to be available in this one. This was before, Marcus Smart was still sort of questionable, even though we all had an idea that he was going to play in this one, but we weren't quite sure how much Marcus we were going to get. Man,
40 minutes in the end.
Exactly, 40 minutes, man. That's full go, right? Ime was asked in pregame how it's going to be any restrictions with Marcus, and before the question could be finished, he's like, "No, full go, Marcus. He'll go full go," and the same for Al Horford. So you already knew the kind of approach they were going to have in this one, where they were going to come out here and just try to, as Spo put it, embarrass him. And Jimmy Butler, rather, excuse me. Jimmy Butler said the Celtics were playing like they were trying to embarrass us, and that's exactly what they did. They did embarrass us. Man, what a performance!
Unreal. And again, 2 days ago, this 5-day stretch, you win Game 7. You see Smart in the boot right after.
Yes, that's not easy. It's not easy to turn around.
He's down with the foot injury. You hear foot sprain, and you're like, oh, geez, Hayward missed a month plus with that. Could Smart miss the whole series here? Then rapid succession, you lose Game 1. Al ends up in COVID protocol.
Jeez.
And then within 2 days, Smart's back playing 40 minutes, and Al's out of protocol. And it's like, whoa, things just flipped on a dime for this team in 2 days here in Miami. And
Literally.
Horford's impact substantial too. Thought you could miss through game 3, game 4, depending on how the protocol shook out. Certainly days would take him to that point, but he got the negative test he needed. He got out just before the game here. Jason Tatum said he heard about it on the bus with the Instagram post of Al flexing. And don't look at his stat sheet, not as dominant there as Smart's, but you watch his game defensively, just everywhere.
Yeah, it's like almost like a security blanket for these guys. You know, they're just more confident when he's out there. And the same thing could be said about Marcus Smart. But the front court matchup, the way the front court's playing defense right now, I think is very important because Miami, at some point in the series, and it's probably going to be Game 3. They're going to need something out of Bam Adebayo on the offense. And look.
6 shots tonight.
It doesn't look like Kyle Lowry is going to be coming back anytime soon, especially in Game 3. We got less than 48 hours here, so it's probably not going to happen. And they have to find a way to unlock him. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do that. Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in the NBA for a reason. And to see how they do in Game 3, how they're going to try to get Bam going, it'll be interesting.
Yep, and Al defending the pick and roll there. It's great to see. There was one play in the corner where the Heat thought they were going to be able to switch him out to the perimeter. He stayed strong on it, stayed low, and that was a problem for the Celtics early in this one, playing too low and letting the Heat shoot. But they kept the Heat off balance with those different looks. And these two defensive teams sort of looking at each other in the mirror. We'll get into where the series goes from here, but for now, Marcus Smart, Al Horford back, and both had a substantial hand in a blowout win. Celtics lead by as many as 34, going a 62-27 run, 37-10 at one point. Just dominance from the beginning of the second on. Really started late in the first quarter there, and they've tied this series 1-1. Garden Report, of course, brought to you by Calm. This one, you're calm throughout, but there's other ones where you're freaking out a bit, and afterward you're going to need calm, and I'm sure there'll be more of those this series and for this whole run here. Get it now while you got this deal. Calm.com/garden, 40% off sleep subscription, sleep sounds rather, yoga, meditation, anything you need to relax.
And it's a full year subscription, so it's worth it. 40% off, yeah, it's easy.
And we use it every night going to bed. It's crucial. HelloFresh.com/playoff16. Also, big supporters of the Garden Report here. Meatloaf, chicken and spaghetti, you've heard it all. Also the tacos, the pork tacos, which I love. They put me on a taco tear when I started having those. And we miss it here on the road. Back home, we get those delivered to our house, fresh, packaged, pre-made instructions. You love cooking.
Those pictures look really good. I got to post those.
And cooking's really fun, too. And they make it easy for you. HelloFresh.com/playoff16. That's going to get you 16 free meals, now for the length of the series, and then some, and 3 free gifts. And you also support the Garden Report as we continue to cover the Celtics push toward the championship. 3 wins from the finals, 7 wins from a championship. We're going to talk about where this is going now after a win like this and getting the team back and healthy in our next video. Go check that out, Celtics All Access on YouTube, Pressers, CLNS Media, and of course all our coverage of the Celtics and all of us in sports at clnsmedia.com. For Josue Pavon, I'm Manning, live from Miami.